Hey guys, CryptoDad here again. Thanks for joining me on the live Q&A from LA, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come as you are, throw out any questions that you may have. I'll do my best to get them answered on the fly. So let's jump in. Let's do this thing. All right, so welcome everyone. Sorry I was about 30 seconds late. I had everything ready to roll and I looked up at my camera and I was a big blur. It's been happening quite a bit lately. Don't know what that's about. It's like the focus is wearing out on this camera. Let's see who's on. Let's see who's some people on. Let me greet my fellow crypto enthusiasts. Jacques. Hello. Sarah and Mike, hello. New to the channel, welcome. Shahid, always a faithful viewer of the 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time Q&A. Great Caper, good to see you here again. Celtic FC fan, hello. Fatty McButterpants, haven't seen you in a while, hello. I won't say it again. It's getting old. Okay, Mike Moore. Welcome, Mike. Shah Yosef, hello. He's been here before, too. From Dallas, Texas. Right on. I grew up in Houston, Texas. My brother still lives in Kingwood. So, welcome from Texas. Parlay is here. That's great. So, let's go over here. Whoops. All right. Let's adjust our... res here so we can get serious. All right, you need to be able to see my whole screen here. I guess you guys know I've got a 4K monitor, which I love, but when I do the live stream I pop the resolution down for your benefit. Makes it easier for you guys to see what I'm doing. The only problem is, because of the magnification, my browser links aren't always where I expect them, so I get a little befuddled. But that's to be expected from an old man like me. 56 years old, for those of you who are curious, and those of you who aren't. They got some questions, Sarah and Mike. Okay, I'm going to keep an eye on that, but we'll open with the news of the day and a really interesting story, which I just love. So let's take a look at where we are at this moment. If I can find it, see? I can't find my... here we go. All right. Forgive me, forgive me. All right, so we're at 12,263, which is pretty decent, considering that last week we were all jumping for joy because Bitcoin broke 10,000. If you recall, that was just last week. After lingering in the mid to upper 9,000s for what seemed like forever, it finally broke 10,000 last Friday night. And I think during the live stream, towards the end, it was up to like 10,050. And we were all, pretty happy. And then during the week, of course, it got up to, I guess, I noticed it up to be around 12, maybe flirting with 13. And then all of a sudden, I guess it shot up to 14 for a brief moment and then took this tumble. And not only did Bitcoin take a tumble, but all of the altcoins were just hammered. I mean, the altcoins ended up getting hammered like to lows they hadn't seen in like weeks, it seemed to me. The altcoin market just got hammered. It was kind of depressing, right? But Bitcoin, that was Wednesday. And then yesterday, everything was down. And then I guess last night and this morning, Bitcoin started coming back. And here we are at 12,263, which, like I said, compared to last week, is, a $200 bump or more, $250 bump. So we're in good shape. The interesting thing about this, and this, I want to share this great story with you guys. I was watching it this morning, and Bitcoin was up over 12.2. And I was looking at Bitcoin news, and I saw this article. Let's see if I can. Let's pump it up here. Yeah. Bitcoin almost wipes out mega gain just as swiftly as it came. Right? And, you know, the whole tone of the story is that, boom, it's all over. Bitcoin just crashed. You know, Bitcoin's meteoric rise this week. And notice he only points out this week. And it's been on the rise since April, right? So it's a little bit of a mischaracterization to say that, you know, all of a sudden, you know, this week it just blew up. Because it was parabolic last month. All right, so Bitcoin frenzy pushed to 14,000, the highest level since January of 18. Brought back memories of the great bubble burst, blah, blah, blah. Fill us all in. Crypto bulls heartened. But Thursday's reversal prompted one of Bitcoin's biggest proponents, Mike Novogratz, to lament on not having taken more money off the table before the coin lost nearly all its gains, right? All its gains. Bitcoin dropped as much as 19% on Thursday, pairing the loss. Blah, 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 blah. Seems like the crypto market got too hot. But there was a comment that he made. That may have contributed to its swift demise, as if Bitcoin is dead, right? Because it had a minor retracement after, you know, popping up $400 in, you know, 24 hours or 36 hours or whatever you want to call it. You know, this stuff is to be expected. Yeah, it hits you in the gut. And anybody that's got a small nest egg invested in cryptocurrency, I gotta give you kudos just for hanging in there, because it is gut-wrenching when you look at, and of course if you're like me, you tend to follow your portfolio. You know, you wake up in the morning and you say, what's it looking like, and then you check it a couple times a day, and you've been waiting since 2018 for crypto winter to be over, and then you see your portfolio is like skyrocketed over the last couple weeks, and you start, you know, making plans to buy that new Lambo, or, you know, pay down your credit cards, or whatever you want to do with all this so-called money that you've just, you know, been dropped in your lap, and then all of a sudden it just takes a dive, and you think to yourself, my God, you know, I just lost $1,000, but you didn't really lose it, right? You're just sort of hanging on. But you know, the mentality is like, that was my money yesterday and now it's gone today, I should have sold, or whatever your thinking is. I'm not the kind of person that tries to chase the market, because I know it's a losing battle to try to chase the market. Sell high, buy low, you know, it sounds easy, but you're either a long-term investor, or you're a short-term investor, or you're a day trader. You know, but don't try to be the day trader if you're. What's up? You're done? Yeah. You're all done? Why don't you go wash your face, buddy? You got some or ketchup. Ketchup. Hot dog. He did pretty good on that one. So we're here, and although the naysayers are writing Bitcoin's epitaph once again. We're not dead yet, right? It's like the Monty Python movie. I'm not quite dead. Okay, so let's see. Mike and Sarah joined early, so let me see if they. Hello, everyone that's joined as I was babbling. Big Diamonds, Mike Moore, Rudy from Chicago. Great. New to crypto. Okay, so we got that. Okay, do you think that Ledger will allow ADA to go directly on the Ledger anytime soon? No, I do not. We're going to talk about that. There's some things I want to talk about with the Ledger. I don't mean to be a testy old man, but you need to be able to wrap your head around the fact that Ledger Live is not going to support every single crypto that it's possible to store the private key on the device. Just being able to store the private key on the Ledger is a boon to your security. It would be great if you could see every coin that there was an app for in Ledger Live. It would be. I'll admit that. But it's not the way the world works, okay? Some of these cryptos require third-party wallets, and that's just the way it's going to be. I could be wrong. They might come out with account support for ADA tomorrow. I don't know, but I doubt it very much. It's not that big of a deal. It's really not. I mean, just go to your ADA interface and check your balance. You know, I mean, you've got Word, you've got Excel, you've got PowerPoint. They do different things. You have no problem with that. I mean, why don't you say, why can't I edit and everything all in one big application? You know, everything is a little bit specialized. All right, I'm going to get down off that soapbox for a minute. Okay, Betty is here. Congrats on the 4K monitor. You're just a youngster. LOL. Thanks so much for your video on Coinbase Earn. Oh yes, Betty, you're welcome. She asked me specifically about Coinbase Earn. She was trying to get her coins that she earned on Coinbase Earn into her own wallet, and she was having some issues, and so I did a video specifically on that. And once again, there are some coins on Coinbase Earn that are not supported on in the Ledger Live account interface, although they did have apps. So, you know, a lot of them are ERC20 tokens. And you cannot see ERC20 tokens in Ledger Live. You have to use MyEtherWallet. But, you know. Okay, I want to see if our new friends, Sarah and Mike. Okay, Sarah and Mike just created a Coinbase account, and they're interested in XRP. Okay, so 02 Cash was able to set up the EOS wallet with Ledger X using the Fairy wallet. More power to you. I have never been able to make Fairy wallet work. I don't know. Maybe I should try again, but I don't know. I was going through it step by step, and when I launched the wallet, it never like recognize the ledger or whatever it wouldn't do. I just got frustrated and gave up. So more power to you on EOS. But I earned my EOS and sold it right away for Litecoin. I'm like, screw EOS. I don't need it. I don't want it. Okay. Okay, they just created the account. Rudy DePlane. Hey guys, at the top of the chat window, 3 dots. One is able to pop out the chat. It makes easy with 2 windows to keep up the conversation. That's exactly what I do. You know, I pop out the chat so that I can look at it on the other monitor. You know, rather than see it scrolling down the side, you could move it to a different monitor, I guess, and make your main screen bigger, and so that you can see what I'm doing. But I think the default is for it to kind of scroll along the side of your YouTube window. Okay, Sarah and Mike. I want to see if they had a question. Sarah and Mike. Did you just make fun of British people? No, I'm laughing with them. Those of you who are Monty Python fans would have loved that reference, you know. For those of you who are too young to remember Monty Python and the Holy Grail, at the very beginning they were set in medieval times. They were going through the villages gathering the dead from the Black Plague, and one guy said, here, take this guy. And the guy on the cart says, okay, bring out your dead. And then the old guy said, I'm not dead. And then they argued about it a little bit. And that was a running joke through the whole movie, was someone would get gravely wounded and they'd say, I'm not dead yet, or something like that. Okay, chasing through the markets. Did Sarah and Mike ever ask a question? I'm looking for a question here. I'm just going to keep going down until I find it. No, not yet. Okay. Rudy, I like XRP as a hedge against other holdings. Okay. XRP is cool. I did okay in XRP. I just bought more Friday. Good. How to cash out Bitcoin and alts. Okay. All right. Oh, if you'll just give me 1 second, I got to take the pizza out of the oven.
Stop. Is it cheese pizza?
It's a creamy pizza, buddy.
Creamy pizza?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Ew.
All right.
Wait, hot dog.
That's why they call me Crypto Dad. You want another hot dog? There's more hot dogs over there.
Oh.
Okay. It's only a flesh wound. There he goes. Fatty nose. Okay, so let's see. It's getting to the point where I can barely read all these as we go on. It's merely a flesh wound. Okay. Here we go. Sarah and Mike, I was uncomfortable how much personal info was required for Coinbase. Is it required for the ID? Also been learning as much as I can about crypto. I've been watching your videos. Back to Mu on Ledger. If you use Mu instead of vintage Mu, put tokens on the Ledger. Good luck getting them back out with either version. It can be we can do that. We can try that. Okay. I guess Sarah and Mike are asking why it requires so much ID to purchase coins on Coinbase, right? And the reason for that is as Bitcoin comes of age, there is more pressure on cryptocurrency exchanges. These are the on-ramps and off-ramps, right? If I have Bitcoin and I want to send some to my friend, Jim, Jim just gives me his Bitcoin address, right? Nobody has to know. I mean, they can analyze the blockchain and maybe figure out that I sent Jim some Bitcoin, but I don't need to know any of Jim's personal information, really. I just, I need a certain level of trust with Jim. Or maybe, I owe Jim money because he did a website for me or whatever. And I say, well, Jim, I'll pay you in Bitcoin, and I send him some Bitcoin. That's all well and good. All right. But the fiat on-ramp, which means if I have $1 or dollars in my hand, I can't buy Bitcoin, right? It has to be digital. It's in some form of digital. So our bank account, our debit card, maybe a credit card in some instances, but Bitcoin or Coinbase does not take credit cards. We need to be able to purchase Bitcoin with our fiat currency. So there is where we're interacting with the current financial system. Now, if you're a backwoods postal carrier militia hater, no, if you're a backwoods militia postal carrier hater, which is what happened to Newman on Seinfeld, then you don't want to give up your personal information when you buy Bitcoin, right? You don't want the government getting involved in anything that you do, right? You don't want to have to give up all that personal information. But the way the government sees it is, and this may be, the view is that they're intruding upon our life, right? They're intruding upon our privacy, they're intruding upon our business or whatever, and so they should stay out of it, right? But they look at it as, they've invented all these new laws, right? Money laundering. What is money laundering? The definition of money laundering is someone that is trying to move money into legitimate means that they've obtained by illegal activities, right? But the broad definition of money laundering has become moving money around without the government knowing about it, right? So they've sort of expanded the definition, and they make it such a big deal, like, you're a terrorist or you're a drug dealer if you feel like you want to move some money around without anyone else knowing about it, right? But that is what Bitcoin really is all about, and that's what cash is all about. I mean, anywhere you go, you know, people that want to keep a low profile do cash only business. I mean, it's just human nature to want to keep their transactions private. Whether they're trying to avoid taxes or not, whatever, some people don't think taxes are legal. That's their stuff, right? But the government wants, when people spend their money, when they move money around, when they buy Bitcoin with cash, and then they take that Bitcoin and they move it somewhere else, or whatever they do not want someone being able to do something illegal and use the proceeds to buy Bitcoin. And so over time, they've cracked down on any kind of on-ramps for Bitcoin. And that includes the big ones like Coinbase, Bittrex, Binance, all of them. They're saying, look, if I find you selling Bitcoin to Joe Schmo, who is just paying you with money, we don't know where it came from, then we're going to shut you down. So Coinbase says, no, there's no reason, there's no need to do that. We'll just get ID from everybody if they want to use our site, right? So Coinbase is just trying to comply with the pressure that they're getting from, in large part, the U.S. government. Maybe in Europe it's the same thing, I don't know. But here it's U.S. government is pressuring these sites, accusing them of being money launderers, right? So that's why they're requiring all that information. It didn't used to be like that. It used to be you could open a Coinbase account with an email. That's all you needed. You could open an email and a bank card, right? And that revealed a lot about you already. You know, if you're using your bank card on Coinbase, it's just a short step to figure out who you are and where you live, just based on your bank account information. But apparently maybe that took a warrant. You know, if the government wanted to know, okay, we got, you know, this guy who bought this Bitcoin used his debit card, we got to get a warrant so we can go to the bank and the bank can tell us who he is based on his bank account. So that was too hard, right? They just want the cryptocurrency exchange to have all that information so that they can go to the cryptocurrency exchange and say, okay, who bought Bitcoin? How much did they buy? Then we can double check that they're paying their taxes, right? Because, you know, they bought $50,000 worth of Bitcoin and they only declared $40,000 in income last year, right? So that is why Coinbase is asking for so much information. It's not a scam. It's not. They're not trying to steal your identity. Coinbase is above board, probably the most above board way you can buy cryptocurrency. But they've tightened up their process now. You know, like I said, back when I started using Coinbase, all I had was they knew my email and they knew my bank account or my debit card, right? So anyway, I don't know. That was a long talk about that, right? Okay, I'm looking at the ledger, but was wondering what it would be the max amount of money one would be comfortable with using a wallet app. Okay, so I've heard some things about how much cryptocurrency can I store in a Ledger Nano S? That's a fairly common question I get. Not as much as I used to, but I still get that. You know, isn't there a max amount I can store on a Ledger Nano S? And the answer to that is no, really. It's practically infinite because the Bitcoin is not really stored on the device. It doesn't fill up the device. It's just a private key pointing to a Bitcoin address on the blockchain. And the blockchain, it doesn't really take up space. It does as there's more transactions and there's more, you know, it actually takes up space. But whether I have 10 Bitcoins or 20 Bitcoins in my wallet doesn't mean that my wallet takes up any more space. So the answer to the question is you could store almost practically an unlimited amount. Now you might want to spread it across different ledgers. You might want to consolidate it all onto one ledger and have multiple copies of the same wallets. Whatever makes you comfortable. But if you want to store all of your crypto and all of your net worth on a Ledger Nano S, there is nothing preventing you from doing so except your own comfort level, right? So, and you know, the idea of the ledger is that it's secure, it's protected by a PIN, It's very, and if someone tries to steals it from you and tries to enter your PIN, they get locked out after 3 attempts. So if you got an 8-digit PIN, it's very unlikely that someone is going to be able to crack your ledger, right? So it's pretty safe, right? And then the main thing they could do is, you know, ask you or find your 24-word recovery phrase. That's the main thing. So you can restore a different ledger with that, with the same wallets. So that's the thing you want to keep safe and secure. Maybe hide it somewhere good, put it in a safety deposit box, give a copy to your lawyer, send a copy to your mom, whatever, to keep it safe and secure. But don't show it to anybody you don't trust, for God's sake. Okay, I wanted to, I'll look at some of the questions, but I wanted to start off with sort of a common thing that people deal with. I get a lot of people that they say, okay, I deleted Ledger Live from my computer. All right, woe is me. Now what? All right, it's really not that big of a deal. A lot of people, they get all caught up in the Ledger Live software interface, and they feel like my crypto is in Ledger Live. It's not. Your crypto is on the blockchain, and the private key to your wallets are all on this ledger. So as long as you still have the ledger, you can wipe Ledger Live completely off your computer, right? You don't need it, right? So let's do it, right? Let's just go over here to Ledger Live, and we'll go to Accounts. Where are we here? About, Help, somewhere in here. Reset Ledger Live, all right? Erase all Ledger Live data stored on your computer, including your accounts, transaction history, and settings. Boom. Boom. There, it's done, right? Does that mean that all of my crypto is gone? Class? Is all my crypto gone? Did I just accidentally erase all of my crypto? Oh my gosh, did I? No, I didn't. All I did was erase the software on the computer that would interface with my device. So here we go. Here's my device. Luckily for me, it's an X, so all of my apps are already on there. So we don't need to initialize. We don't need to restore. We're just going to use a device that's already initialized, right? It's a Ledger X. Now it has to be connected with a USB when we're using Ledger Live, right? Yes. Yes. Let's check. Is it, oh, I need to get out of the app that I'm in. All right, I'm on the dashboard, and now it should ask me to allow Ledger Manager, right? So now I'm going to allow Ledger Manager. All right, and as you can see, I've got a whole bunch of crypto apps still on there. I did not erase any of the apps that were on there. All right, so here we are. All right, now I need to create a password. So I'll do that over here. Actually, I really didn't need to hide that because, all right, I don't like to give analytics. Just one more layer of complication. Boom. All right, now what are we gonna do? All right, we got it. We got it. Now what are we going to do? We're going to go over to accounts. We're going to add an account. Let's start with Bitcoin. We're going to add Bitcoin. Let's go into the Bitcoin app. All right. Let's hit both buttons. We're in the Bitcoin app. All right. Watch our screen. Watch the device. Watch the screen. Always make sure you're checking the device. Sometimes the device is asking you for some kind of input. All right, and here we go. It is scanning this device for any Bitcoin wallets. If it doesn't find any, then it's just going to create an empty one, right? So there we go. So it has found an old wallet that was already on here with some Bitcoin in it. It has also offered me the opportunity of adding an empty one if I want to start a new wallet. I really don't, so I'm not going to tick that. I'm just going to leave it unticked. I'm going to edit this. I'm just going to call it Bitcoin. You can call it I'm Not Dead Yet if you want to. let's hit add account, and let's just close it, right? And there's our Bitcoin. See, I didn't erase anything. So I get a lot of people asking me about Ledger Live and, you know, why don't I see my crypto in Ledger Live, and what did I do, and I think it's gone. And you know, you can install Ledger Live on a different computer if you want to with the same ledger. It'll still show you the same wallets. You could install Ledger Live on your desktop and only look at the Bitcoin account, and then you could install it on your laptop and only have the XRP. And it doesn't matter, right? It's just a different window to the very same addresses on the various blockchains. All right, so let's add another. Let's add Ethereum this time. Now let's hit continue. Now watch the screen. The screen says connect and unlock the ledger, and then it says navigate to the Ethereum app on your device. So I'm going to get out of Bitcoin, right? I'm going to hit the buttons until I get to quit app. And now I'm at the home screen again. Sorry, it's kind of... All right, went wrong way. Now I'm on Ethereum. I'm going to hit both buttons. All right, I'm in Ethereum app. All right, now it's happy. Continue. It's going to scan this device for the any Ethereum wallets that may already be on here. All right. Mind you, I didn't reset this device. That's a whole different ball of wax. But you can restore these devices too from your 24-word recovery phrase. But I'm not going to go through that tonight. I'm just trying to explain to you how your crypto is not really in Ledger Live. It feels like it is, but it's not really. Ledger Live is just an interface. All right, so there we go. Now we've got our Ethereum balance. Let's add another account. Let's add Litecoin this time. Alrighty, let's hit that. Let's navigate to Litecoin, right? So we'll navigate out of Ethereum, quit. We'll go to, whoops, no, stuck. See, after all that. Alright, so it got stuck, right? So am I going to panic? Am I going to scream bloody murder? Am I going to worry that all of my crypto has disappeared? No. I'm just going to unplug it and plug it back in and re-enter my PIN. Or I'm just going to I'm going to hold it, right? I'm going to hold, okay, there, it went off, right? All right, it's initialized, wants me to re-enter my PIN. Alright, and now I'm going to navigate over to the Litecoin app, right? And I'm going to hit both buttons. And lo and behold, Ledger Live just waited for me to do that, right? No big deal. A little embarrassing for me because I was trying to do a demo and I got my device hung. It reminded me of when Bill Gates demoed Windows 95 for the first time and his computer crashed on stage. All right, so there. Now it found my Litecoin and it's offering me the option of creating an empty. You'll notice there that they say SegWit, right? And I've also had some people ask me about legacy accounts, right? Now, Ledger Live will find legacy accounts. So if you created your Bitcoin wallet back in the last year when it was they use legacy Bitcoin addresses and you're using Ledger Live, you cannot create a legacy address using Ledger Live, but it will certainly find one if you've already created one on your device, right? All right, so I think we're okay there. Now, there's XRP on here too, but it's not that much. All right, so what about my ADA, right? I didn't erase my ADA. It was never there for me to see anyway, right? So what am I going to do about my ADA? Well, I'll do what I always do. I'll go over to ADA Lite. All right, I'll log in to ADA Lite. Now I'm going to exit Litecoin. And I'm going to enter my Cardano app. Right? And I'm going to continue. Go to hardware. Choose Ledger. And then I have to do this. Right? It says export public key. I'm going to hit both buttons. And then I'm going to confirm again by hitting both buttons. And now it's ready. Right? Not rocket science, right? It's not that difficult to check your balance with a third-party wallet, especially Ada Lite. It's just a web page, right? But I'll say it again. I'll say it many, many times again, over and over again. The Ada is not on this website. I get so many people that go, what if Ada Lite disappears? What if their website crashes? Will I lose my Ada? No, you will not. Your Ada is safely stored on this device. The private key of your Ada address is stored on this device. So if Ada Lite website goes down forever, you'll still be able to get to your Ada. Right? There's where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a private key on a device, maybe there'll be a better Ada site. Worst case scenario, you can use the key generator to extract your private key. Whatever you got to do. You're not going to lose your Ada. And there are other. What about my Stellar? Okay, let's go check Stellar. Let's go to Stellar Wallet. Let's go to Ledger. All right, now I'm going to exit Ada. Let's go over to Stellar. I gotta find it. I hope this isn't too boring for those of you who are old hands at this stuff. There's Stellar. Now I'm going to go to the Ledger compatible Stellar wallet viewer, sign in with Ledger. Boom, there's my Stellar. All right. Okay, I get it. I can't see it in Ledger Live. There's no Stellar, right? There's no Stellar. There's no Ada. And it would be nice if every single crypto that I own was able to be viewed in Ledger Live, but you can't. So, you know, just deal with it. It's not that difficult. You know, I can send and receive Ada from this wallet, and I can view my balance, and it's safely and securely stored on my Ledger device. It is not in this website, right? The website is merely an interface. All right, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too harsh on you guys. Okay. I guess I'll later give you an option to import all instead of one by one. That would be nice, right? If Ledger Live would just kind of go, okay, do you want me to search for any coins that you happen to have on here? And then it would just find each account. Like it would find the Bitcoin, and then it would find the Litecoin, and then it would find the Ethereum. And then in one nice little interface, it would list all of the wallets, all of the accounts, and all of the balances with little tick boxes. And you could just go, yes, add them all. That would be awesome. Yes. Great idea, man. We should tell Ledger about that. How do you restore Monero Ledger wallet in the event you can't locate the wallet key file on your computer? Does one just create a new wallet with the Ledger Monero GUI in the Mac OS? I believe that is the case. I've heard, you know, he's talking about the Monero wallet, and I've done some videos on that with the Ledger. But when you create, you know what? I got to do something here. I got to turn... I was watching my live stream last week, and I was like, why is my face keep changing color? And I realized that it's because of my computer. I'm gonna, you know, I know somebody's gonna come to my house and want this. All right. Just do it fast, right? All right, there we go, right? There she blows, right? We've got light loop, RGB fans, RGB memory, light strips. We got a glass case. We got all that stuff going on, but it's just too darn busy, right? Let's switch it over to YouTube mode. where it's just mostly off. That way you're not going to see like shifting colors on my face. That was crazy. All right, maybe we'll do something later with the phone. So I'm not going to disconnect it, but I will turn auto lock off and we'll just minimize it. All right. Let's get that out of the way. Oh, okay. So we're talking about Monero. So the idea is when the Monero wallet gets created, there's a folder in your documents folder of all places that has Monero wallet data in there. You like create a wallet, it'll say Monero Wallet 1 or Ledger Monero, whatever you name it, and it's in your documents folder. And so the question is, what if I accidentally delete that or whatever? Will I still be able to get back into my Monero? And I believe the answer to that is yes. I've heard some people mention that because what happens when you delete an app off of your device, it basically erases that private key. But because the ledger is deterministic, when you re-add an app, in this case the Monero app, it's going to regenerate the exact same private key every single time for the individual wallets, right? Because there's a master private key on the ledger. So what's going to happen if you go from scratch and you install the Monero wallet and you tell it that I have a Monero private key on my device, it's going to find that same private key that you set up before, and you'll create a brand new wallet, but it'll still point to that first private key that you generated, and your Monero balance will be there. Now, if you created several Monero wallets, you might need to redo that, because every time you create a new account or a new private key, it generates a new one, right? So like in the case of, say, the Bitcoin on my old ledger, I had like 4 different Bitcoin accounts on it. So whenever I scan, it shows all 4 of them, even though like 2 of them were empty and 1 is like got dust in it. They're there still. So if you have more than one Monero wallet on your ledger, you might need to like create more than just one wallet, right? Just like create a new wallet, you know, using the ledger, and you should be able to get back to your Monero. I would try it now, but it's a little involved on the live stream, and Monero is a little tricky because a lot of antivirus and anti-malware programs treat the Monero wallet as malware. So there's a little, you gotta like disable, you gotta add it to your whitelist, you gotta do all kinds of weird stuff to get it to work. But it does. So that's the best answer I can give. Now I have, there's a video where I show it how to do it. So if you haven't seen that video yet, you might want to check it out. Let's see, so Monero. I think if you just follow the steps of this particular video, best way to buy Monero, how to store Monero using the Ledger Nano X, right? I believe, wait a minute. I think I just saw how to install the Monero wallet and buy some Monero for it. I believe that's non-Ledger. Okay, this one would be the one where I show you how to set up the Ledger wallet using Monero. It's actually gotten even easier. Let's just do this. So you might want to check out that video if you're having second thought. But like if you do Monero, well, I won't do Monero. It'll take too long. Also cannot buy Bitcoin from Robinhood in some states like Nevada. Cash App fees are very low. Square is easy, but BTC costs a little more. I've heard that the price of Bitcoin that they quote is always a little bit higher than what they would see as market value somewhere else. You know, each exchange has their own APIs for getting the price, the current price of Bitcoin. But yeah, I've heard that Cash App, yes, their fees are low, but they tend to calculate the price of Bitcoin a bit higher than what would most, you know, what you might see somewhere else, which is kind of a hidden way for them to make a little extra, right? Watched the video at the G20 Summit about the discussion of digital currency. Some are getting hyped up about XRP. XRP seems to be gathering some institutional support, as well as Bitcoin. But I think, yeah, XRP is more, you know, they're appealing to the banking industry. If you were at a friend's house and you needed to pay him and you have Ledger on, you can hook up the Ledger to your friend's computer and use it. Yes, that is true. You can. It would be, yeah, you could. All you got to do is just what I did, you know, install Ledger Live and maybe just add the one Bitcoin account, and then tell your friend to give you his Bitcoin address, and you could send him some Bitcoin, lickety split, and then you could just uninstall Ledger Live on his computer, and he wouldn't, you know, have any access to your coins. The only way to access the coins is by using the buttons. You know, but if he knows your public address, he could check all your Bitcoin transactions. But that's another whole thing. Okay, let's... Joe Rapp, technical question. Oh, that was the one about Manero. Okay. Yeah, it was kind of amateur hour there. I guess on a later update we'll give you all the import. Okay. When I use Ledger Live and load my Nano X, it says upper left-hand corner. I'm using Ledger Nano S, which I also have. Usually when you're in Ledger Live, when he says upper right corner, I'm not sure what that means. Up here, upper left-hand corner. Okay. I don't see that. Maybe when he's in Manager. Let's get out of Stellar. Okay, allow Ledger Manager, because I had to reconnect it. Are you saying up here it's telling you that it's a Ledger S? Because on mine it always knows which one is connected when I go to Manager. And if it's telling you that it's still the Ledger S, then maybe disconnect, reconnect, refresh Ledger Live. That's kind of weird, because mine will go back and forth. So, you know, let's disconnect Ledger X. Let's connect Ledger S. Right? Let's enter our PIN. Enough amateur hour. Alright, so now I've connected the S. I'm going to have to allow Ledger Manager. And there. See, now it says it's got the Ledger Nano S connected. So I'm not sure if this is what you're talking about here, but I don't see anything up in the left-hand corner about whether I've got an S or an X attached. Like when I'm in accounts, I don't see anything. And you'll notice these accounts are still the ones related to the X, even though the S is attached, right? But if I were trying to send some Litecoin out and verify on this thing, it would go, oops, you have the wrong device attached. So you can manage multiple devices, right? So we could add account here, and, well, it's not on here. Let's see what's on here. Okay. Alright, so I've got Bitcoin Cash on here. So I could add Bitcoin Cash and hit continue. And I'm in the Bitcoin Cash app at the moment. I noticed Bitcoin Cash changed their logo to green. Alright. That's a really old Bitcoin Cash address. Let's see if it finds anything else. I honestly couldn't tell you whether there was... Okay, and there's another empty one, right? Alright. Alright, so let's just use this old one, whatever, right? But we want to call this one Ledger Black, because this account is associated with a different ledger, right? So I can manage multiple ledgers in the same copy of Ledger Live. right? It just depends on, and if I want to send cash into Bitcoin Cash, no problem. If I want to send Bitcoin Cash out, then I'll need to have this one connected. If I want to send Litecoin out, then I'll need to have the X connected. It's pretty straightforward. And if I have the wrong device connected when I try to send, it'll say, oops, you have the wrong device attached. So it's kind of dummy proof. And you could manage 7 different ledgers if you wanted to, I guess. If you had a mind to. Okay. BTC hits 50,000 before 2020. We do a backflip on stream and send me 0.1 BTC. I can't even do a backflip, so that's like one of those if-then statements that is immediately false, because CryptoDad will never do a backflip. Darn. How do you restore a Ledger wallet in the event you can't locate the wallet key file on the computer? Does one? Yeah, I think I answered that, right? That was the question that was asked before, right? I thought I talked about that. Maybe I'm behind in the stream. Send the coins to the Ledger BTC address. Page you endorse Cointracker. That is the answer to my question. I'll check it out. Someone asked me, I do endorse Cointracker. I use Cointracker because I buy and sell a lot of coins. When you want to buy an altcoin on Binance, you got to buy some Bitcoin or the Litecoin on Coinbase. You got to send it over to Binance. You got to trade it for Cardano or Stellar or whatever you're buying on Binance. All those little transactions are taxable events as far as the IRS is concerned. But when you use Cointracker, you can connect it to your cryptocurrency exchanges through APIs that you authorize them. And then you can give them the public addresses of all the wallets that you're storing your cryptocurrency in. And Cointracker will not only give you a full history of all your transactions, going back years, it will also calculate your tax forms for you, not your whole return, but it'll calculate your capital gains, loss or gain, right? And that's a special tax form. And then you can take that to your tax accountant, and presto changeo, you're now a legitimate crypto holder, right? So you're not going to get blindsided when you decide to cash out your Bitcoin after it goes to the moon, and the government says, hey, where'd you get all that money? Are you a drug dealer or a terrorist? And you'll say, no, I bought it on Coinbase. See, I filed it on my taxes in 2017. And they'll go, oh, sorry, my bad, right? So it gives you legal protection for your cryptocurrency gains, right? They're not going to think you're a terrorist because you're opening it up to them. So anyway, and I use Cointracker to do my taxes, and so anything that I use that I can find an affiliate link for, I'll throw it up on if I think it's good, right? I'll use it. And these are all stuff that I use. Like I got the Binance reference, I got the Coinbase reference down there. I wouldn't steer you guys wrong. Right? Rex, when I created my EOS wallet and send BTC, it said save 30% in fees for using SegWit, but it also said I can save 33% more for using native SegWit. How did you send BTC into an EOS wallet? I guess you can store BTC in an EOS wallet? Okay, thanks. That was weird. Yeah, I unfortunately I don't. Like I said, I was never able to get Fairy Wallet to work, so I've never actually used EOS. Not for lack of trying. So if you are able to store Bitcoin in an EOS wallet and it's telling you that you're saving fees, I've never heard of native SegWit as opposed to just SegWit. I've heard of legacy versus SegWit. Those are two different things, right? There's legacy addresses and there's SegWit addresses. but I've never heard of the distinction between SegWit and native SegWit. I may be ignorant, but I've never heard of such a thing. What's up, buddy?
Do you know what my iPad?
Is it on the table? I think it's on the table, buddy. See this cord? Oh no! It's gone! I don't know, baby. You ask Mommy to help me find it. I don't know where it is. Yeah. Missing iPad. Yeah, I don't have that iPad added to find my iPad yet. I should. Yeah, the SegWit is a software protocol that increases the speed of transactions. It started getting implemented in, I guess, 2017, early 2018. There are legacy Bitcoin addresses that generally start with a 1, and then there's SegWit Bitcoin addresses that start with a 3. Litecoin is the same. They sort of changed the format of the addresses. There's ways to convert old addresses into new addresses if you need to send funds to a legacy address using a SegWit. I mean, it's a little bit complicated, but I never knew there was a native SegWit and a just SegWit. But I'm glad you guys help each other out. Hey, William is here again. Good Friday. And every time you tip me, William, I look to see if you've asked a question, because of that a couple weeks back when you tipped me and asked a question and I just totally ignored it. Good to hear you. See you, William. So with Cointracker, if trading one alt for another is an event, then say you trade 1 ETH for 1 XRP, same value in the end, so there's not tax correct. Yes, but it has to be declared as a taxable event, right? It gets listed as a sale, but like in the case like you said, if you buy it right away and you trade it right after you buy it, then there's not going to be a profit or loss really. There might be a micro profit loss or loss that needs to be kept track of, right? But in general, they're thinking more along the lines of what? Go ask your mom, please. Go talk to your mommy and stop getting angry. You're making Daddy angry. Sorry about that. All right. Yeah, so generally, let's say you wait a week, then there will be a profit or loss, right? So all of those transactions can be accounted for in Cointracker, right? And the ones that have no profit or loss or just a micro profit or loss kind of end up in the wash in the long run anyway. So, but at least they're, I can't keep track of it. I don't know. Maybe I send some Litecoin over to Binance, and during that time the Litecoin spikes or dumps or whatever, and when I buy my altcoin, there is a small profit or loss that I really wasn't aware of. I don't have to worry about that because Cointracker keeps track of all that for me. But you're right. I mean, if it's just an even swap, then it's not. And I've heard that there's a new law that some of the cryptocurrency caucus has introduced that wants to make token-to-token transfers non-taxable. But as it stands now, they are taxable. Rex, no, you have to buy your account at EOS. I did all that. Please, I know. I didn't even get to the point of where it wanted me to buy. The wallet wouldn't work to get me to I was willing to do that, although it goes against every reasonable bone in my body to pay to be on someone's blockchain network. I was willing to do it, but the wallet never got me to that point. I installed the wallet, I launched the wallet, and it just sat there doing whatever, and it never got me to the point of it was in the steps, right? Buying the EOS blockchain account was step 7, and I got hung on step 4 or 3 or 5, whatever. It was way before I even had the chance to buy it. You know, from now on, when people say EOS, I'm just going to ignore it completely. I'm not an EOS fan at all. More power to you, EOS. Since most of the mining power for Bitcoin is owned by China, would it be smart to be more into other coins, maybe like Digibyte, which can't be manipulated? I don't know. He's talking about hashing power, and most of the miners are in China, and so the implication there is that if all the Chinese miners got together, they could lodge a do a 51% attack on the blockchain because they have the 51% of the hashing power. They could rewrite the blockchain. I don't know if that's a threat or not, but theoretically it is. So whether or not that's a reason not to buy Bitcoin, I don't know. I've never really thought about that. Oh, and by the way, for those of you who have Ledger Live and are pretty upset that they constantly have to keep logging themselves in, you can go over to the settings and general and just turn off auto lock, right? Just put it to never. That way it won't keep logging you out. I'm sure that is very irritating for some, right? Just a little newbie tip. Okay. I was going to buy some Bitcoin tonight, too. I registered in the crypto wallet. Although I live in Argentina, I realized later that it only accepts U.S. banks. Is there any way to unsubscribe the account? Which crypto wallet are you talking about? Changed my name again. Let's see. Yes, I have a tax accountant that's been doing my taxes for many years. So he has all my previous returns and all in his software. And I just, Cointracker printed out the forms for me. And I just took them with me when I went to have my taxes done. My tax accountant didn't really know much about cryptocurrency at all, but he did know how to file the capital gains form, right? And he did have to sort of punch in, because the capital gains form had a list of like 7 or 8 different cryptocurrencies that had losses or gains, and he had to punch them all in. And you know, he didn't really know what he was doing, but it was all done for him. The form was there, printed for him. And then he did the rest of it. He did the 1090 or the 1040 and the expense report and, you know, the tax credit. He did all that stuff. And all I did was submit the form that I got from Cointracker. It was $200 to get my 2017 tax form for my capital gains losses or gains, I forget, on from Cointracker, right? That's the price you pay. It's free to connect. You can connect your accounts to it, and it'll give you a list of all of your transactions. And if you, you know, you don't have that many, you could write them down yourself or export it to Excel and sort of figure out how to do the form yourself. But it's so much easier to let them generate it for you, based on, especially when you have thousands of trades. Oh, I wouldn't call I wouldn't call EOS a scam. I don't know. I did a tutorial a few days ago. Does he have to punch in every trade or just the end result? He only had to punch in the end result of a year's worth of transactions. So, like, for instance, like there were 1,000 Bitcoin buys and sells. But there was only one list of Bitcoin profit for 2017 was $300 or whatever it was, right? Because most of them, I buy the Bitcoin and sell it right away. So all of those thousands of trades and transactions were all consolidated into one line on the tax form that said Bitcoin, $300 profit. Litecoin, $300 loss. You know, Stellar, you know, $500 gain. And then, you know, then there was a total at the bottom of the form that said my total capital gains for all the coins that I invested in that year. But it's still not totally perfect, but it's as perfect as it can be, right? Because you get stuff like, all right, I bought 500 Litecoin, and then I waited a whole year, and then I bought 200 more, and then I sold 400. So what did I sell? Did I sell the Litecoin I bought a year ago, so I'm not subject to capital gains taxes? Or did I just spend the 200 that I bought last month? Oh. So there's a lot of gray area in there, right? I think it was all treated as within the year type of stuff. Yes, how to set up a Crypto.com wallet. I did a tutorial on how to set up a Crypto.com wallet. So was there a question about that? Hey, this is Kim. Want to launch a nuke? Go check the price of Bitcoin. Let's do that. Let's take a break from all my babbling. Let's go over to okay, it's down a little bit from when we started, right? It's 11.8. I think it was 12.356 or whatever when we first started. So it's lost a little bit, but it's still over 10,000. I'm not going to hold a grudge because it didn't hold at 14,000, right? It broke 10,000 last Friday, and it's still above 10,000. So I'm happy with what I got, right? We'll see what happens. I would just like the altcoins to sort of run up too. They really took a beating on Wednesday. It was just gut-wrenching. Okay, so let's buy a little Bitcoin. Let's, what do you say we, let's just buy some Bitcoin and put it in our ledger, right? Let's do the easy peasy, right? So let's go to Cash App. And I learned that I was doing an unnecessary step. I used to go to cash and fill some cash. I don't need to do that. I just go straight to Bitcoin. You'll notice that they're both 0, right? Cash is 0, Bitcoin is 0. But I can go straight to Bitcoin and say buy, and buy 50, and hit buy, and it automatically charges my card. And there it is. It wants me to confirm. Let's confirm that. And maybe they're busy tonight, but because it usually confirms a lot quicker than that. There it goes. All right. So there, I just bought some Bitcoin. Great, right? It's safe and secure on my phone. Not really. This is a non-custodial wallet. No, this is a custodial wallet. Pardon my French. This is a wallet that is managed by the Cash App people. The Bitcoin is not in my phone. It is on their servers. They're allowing me access to it by virtue of having an account. But I do not own this Bitcoin in the true sense of the word. It's in the Cash App. But I would like to own it. So let's move it into my Ledger Live. Let's move it onto my own wallet that's in the interface to that wallet is Ledger Live. Right? So let's go over to the Bitcoin. Let me connect. Just for the sake of argument, I could actually do this on my phone. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it the X way, right? First, I'm gonna turn it on. I don't know why it went off. Is it dead? All right, so it's not connected. Let's enter our PIN. Actually, I can't really scan the QR code this way, but that's okay. Let's go into Bitcoin. All right. Now let's go over here to our Ledger Live app. And let's go to accounts. Let's go to Bitcoin. Let's do a receive. And it wants me to connect to the Ledger Nano X. If you recall, I entered the Bitcoin app already. So it's ready to go. I'll just hit continue. And there's my Bitcoin address, right? And then it wants me to confirm that on the device, right? So there's that Bitcoin address. Let's scroll over to approve. All right. Sorry about the blurriness. All right. And now the app is ready, right? So I'm not even going to use Ledger Live, really. I don't need it. I'm just going to tap copy address on my phone, right? So it says address copied. Now, let's go back to the Cash app. And let's scroll down here to where it says withdraw Bitcoin. Let's slide this puppy over all the way. Let's hit withdraw. I'm just going to, see, I could have scanned Ledger Live, but I'm going to enter manually from that Bitcoin address that I generated with my Ledger Live app on my phone. Paste twice. Do next, confirm, enter my PIN, which I'll hide from you, even though I shouldn't. It's not that big of a deal, but gosh knows, whatever. All right, so there. I just initiated the withdrawal, and it's going to end up in my Ledger Live in a few minutes, which we can kind of keep an eye on. Whoops. And okay, we'll just close that. Let's go back here. All right, so we can kind of keep an eye on it here. You'll see that it will show up down at the bottom eventually in a few minutes, and it'll probably show up here too, right? We'll see it over here as well. Whoops, sorry guys. Let's do this. Oh, okay, it came back. All right. So we're sort of monitoring the same account, right? But we should see it here, and we should see it over here when it does come in. And it might take 10 or 15 minutes, but we'll see it. So I tried not to talk too much. I tried not to talk too much, but I wanted to try to name this how to buy Bitcoin and store in your wallet in less than 5 minutes. I think I did it in less than 5 minutes. It might take longer than 5 minutes for it to actually appear, but I want to stress that it's very simple to buy Bitcoin and store it in your own wallet if you got everything set up right? And you want to store Bitcoin in your own wallet. Anybody that tells you about crypto will explain to you that keeping it on an exchange is inherently insecure for a lot of reasons. The exchange could go down. The exchange could get seized by the government. The exchange could get hacked. The exchange could be subpoenaed by the IRS and freeze your funds. I mean, there's so many things that could happen on an exchange. Hey, it's there. You see it? So we see it, I see it in Ledger Live already, right here. June 28th, received. It's not showing on the phone yet. There. All right. See, it showed up on the desktop version of Ledger Live. And this just goes to show you that the Ledger Live on the computer is not really where the Bitcoin is being stored, right? It's just the interface. It's just querying the blockchain account that you have set up, and it's going to alert you when there's been any change to the Bitcoin address on the blockchain, right? The Bitcoin is not stored on my computer. It's not stored on my phone. The Bitcoin is stored on the blockchain, and my phone and my desktop app are just sort of windows to those blockchain addresses. Nice. That's how I do it. Good. Now, if you buy thousands of dollars in BTC from Cash App, when you send it to the wallet, it counts as a wash sale. But when you sell it there, going to 1099 without negative what you paid for it. So I guess 02 Cash is he's pointing out that maybe tax-wise it might be easier to just keep it stored in the Cash App for tax purposes if you decide to sell it later, because you can sell it right out of the Cash App, I guess. But yeah, transferring it into your own wallet adds a level of complication, I guess, for the IRS. Although it really shouldn't, really. It's just my money. Whether I keep my money in the bank or whether I withdraw it and stuff it in my pillow, I'm not really taxed differently on my earnings, right? Unless, of course, I'm earning the money and then shoving it straight into my pillow. But, you know, if I've legitimately earned money from my place of employment, and whether I cash my check in cash and put it under my pillow or deposit my check in the bank and keep it in the bank, it's still the same money being earned. But I don't know. With Bitcoin, it might be different the way you're moving it around, because you're getting fees and whatnot when you move it around. Oh, so Bitcoin went up to 12.3 and then back to 11.6? Oh, well, yeah, I guess it was. I'm sorry, it was like 12.3 when we started. Oh, you just have to prove it. Same with Coinbase. Okay. Yeah, and, you know, I don't really know all the intricacies because I'm not buying huge amounts like some people. I heard that Jack Dorsey buys 10,000's worth of Bitcoin every week with the Cash App, because that's the limit, right? If we look at the Bitcoin there, if I hit buy, you see up there where it says up to 3925. That's my weekly limit, right? I only get 10,000 a week that I can use to buy Bitcoin. I don't know why. I guess they don't want people coming in here and, you know, buying, you know, 100 grand worth of Bitcoin. I don't know. Probably some compliance thing. You know, last week someone was pointing out to me that my version of the Trust Wallet may have been outdated because their version had a DEX. And so I went and I deleted my Trust Wallet and reinstalled it on my iPhone. I did have to restore from recovery phrase. When I deleted it off the phone and then reinstalled it, it acted like it was a brand new empty wallet, right? It asked me, do you want to create a new wallet or do you want to restore an old wallet? So I used my 24-word recovery phrase to restore it. But once I did, I had the latest version. And not only that, it was the consumer version, right? I didn't use test flight. When their Scan Wallet Connect thing first came out, you could only use it if you used their beta version. And so I was using Test Flight app to get the beta version. Well, now the regular standalone version has the Wallet Connect now. But the even later version, which I now have, has the DEX down at the bottom. So see you can't see it when I do it. But down at the bottom there's a DEX, right? Let's get over there. It's down there somewhere. The DEX. Right? So I can actually trade right here in the wallet. Right? As you'll notice, I got a little Binance coin. I got a little Bitcoin. I got a few other little coins. Let's go to DEX and let's say, okay, well let's look. What should we buy? We could buy some eBoost or some MyWish or some Atomic Wallet. Myth is up. Let's just buy a little spend coin for the laughs. So if I've got some BNB, and let's say I want to buy 0.5 with my BNB coin, I'll get 830 spend coin. So I'll hit next. and then send, and swap successfully completed. Right? So you see now, I should have 930 more spend coin than I did before. Right? I forget. Maybe I had 10 in there earlier. So there, I just bought some spend coin right from my phone. And I'm assuming that that's the Binance DEX processing that. I might be cut off from this in September. I don't know. You know, I don't know if the wallet works the same as the website, right? I can use this wallet to use, I can wallet connect to their web-based DEX. Or I can just use the DEX built into the Trust wallet to make trades. So I don't know if I'll be, how do I change my light bulb? Can I put my BTC and another person's BTC on the same Nano X? I think you can, but that's illegal in Colorado. I'm just kidding. I don't know. It's like there's some states that still have laws against adultery. All right. Can I put my BTC and another person's BTC on the same Ledger Nano X? You can do that. But in effect, if someone wants to entrust you with their BTC, there, my BTC is now confirmed on the blockchain. We already saw it in the Ledger wallet, so we're not too worried about that. If someone wants to entrust their Bitcoin to you, yeah, you could. Let's just say, for laughs, come on, let's just do that. Let's just say for laughs that 0.04231 Bitcoin was my brother's, right? My brother bought it on the Cash app, and he gave it to me because he doesn't have a Ledger Nano X, but I do. And so, okay, we could do it that way, where he just sends it into my Bitcoin wallet, and then we keep track of exactly what.
The sound wire is off.
All right, I'm gonna have to deal with that later, buddy. He's being very interactive this week, isn't he? All right, so my brother just sent me, and don't keep track of the dollar amount, right? Because that's going to fluctuate. But keep track of the BTC amount. That stays constant. He sent me 0.004231 Bitcoin, and we should write it down, right? And then if someday he gets a ledger or whatever, or he wants to sell, he can say, Rex, could you send that Bitcoin back to me? And I will say, okay, you sent me 0.004231. I'm going to send that same amount back to you, right? Or I could create a brand new Bitcoin account on the same Ledger Nano X. I could actually, well, let's just connect. Wrong cable. I could just add another Bitcoin account on here. Enter PIN. All right. So I'm going to go back into Bitcoin. Let's do add account. Let's do add Bitcoin. Let's do a scan. Boop. Right. Of course, it's going to see that I already have a wallet in Ledger Live, so it's not going to offer me that one again. See, it sees the one that's already in there. But now there's another one, right? Let's call this one my brother's Bitcoin. Boom. It's empty right now. All right, so there. I've got an empty Bitcoin account on the ledger. We're all ready to receive some Bitcoin. And we can keep it separate that way, right? And that way, there's two separate accounts. And, you know, I can keep it straight in my head. And then when my brother wants his Bitcoin back, I can send it to him. And then I'll just let him know, you know, there were some network fees that, you know, so you're not going to get it all back, but you'll get most of it back. And that's a perfectly legitimate way for me to, him to entrust his Bitcoin to me. But he has to trust me because, in effect, I own that Bitcoin. I have possession of it. So, but if a friend wants you to hold their Bitcoin for you and they're willing to trust you, easy peasy, right? Just create an empty Bitcoin account. Same Ledger Nano, just a different account, a different receiving address, and you can store their Bitcoin in that account until they're ready for it or they want it back, right? Although I wouldn't recommend holding other people's Bitcoin. It's much easier for you to show them how to create their own wallet and let them store their own Bitcoin. Because you might ruin a good friendship over Bitcoin, right? Huh, taxable event, LOL, flashing light, right? Okay, this looks interesting. I don't know what you said, but it was like originally blocked. Silly question being that Bitcoin is property like a car. If I met someone and sold them BTC, would that be legal? Like there were issues with local Bitcoin people selling Bitcoin to others. Good question, right? Local Bitcoin really is selling Bitcoin to someone else. Although, I'm not sure if they charge a premium or not. Someone might be interested in selling their Bitcoin at market price because they want the cash. And they're not going to charge you a premium or charge you a fee. But maybe some of them do. I don't know. But I think the people that got in trouble on local Bitcoins were selling a lot of Bitcoin for a lot of cash from questionable people. Or maybe not questionable people, just large amounts, right? So, and inevitably, if you're selling large amounts of Bitcoin for large amounts of cash in person or online or however local Bitcoin work, you're going to leave yourself open to accusations of money laundering, right? Even if money laundering just means moving money around that the government isn't aware of. You know, that can be considered, that's a crime, right? The government doesn't like you moving money around that they don't know about or that there is not being declared on. It doesn't even have to be illicit money. It doesn't even have, it could be money that somebody earned mowing lawns. Perfectly legitimate money, but they haven't declared it on their tax forms and they've sent it to you and you gave them Bitcoin. So you're, you know, aiding and abetting tax evasion, right? Unknowingly, but you know, those are the issues that we run into when we deal with Bitcoin, right? It's outside the system, right? So the government doesn't like that. And like we said, there's, you know, the backwoods militia, mail carrier haters don't like the government, you know, butting their nose into their business anyway. A lot of those types thinks taxes are illegal. And go on YouTube and watch those videos of the people that say there's no law that says you have to pay taxes, right? They have a really good point, but they end up in front of a judge telling the judge, there's nowhere in the Constitution where it says I have to pay taxes. And the judge just kind of laughs at them. You know, they may be right, but they're not going to, you know, they're going to get hauled in front of a judge either way. It's better to just, you know, go with the flow and declare your earnings and be healthy and safe, right? Why risk everything when all you have to do is pay the government what you owe them? It was pretty easy for me, you know. I didn't have that much in capital gains. And if I sell my Bitcoin 10 years down the road and make a windfall, I'll just pay the government what I owe them and move on with my life, right? Why risk everything when it's not that hard to be compliant? You know, I'm not a rebel. I don't want to be a rebel. Okay, I had a talk with the Cash app, and they said you can buy as much as you want and send it out, but if you sell just $1 worth, they send it to the IRS. Oh, if you sell it. Oh, okay. So if, like I did, I just bought it and moved it, right? But if I were to sell it, then they're going to report that to the IRS because that's a taxable event, which makes sense. And I got an email from Cointracker about a week ago that says now you can connect the Cash App to Cointracker so that Cointracker can keep track of all your Cash App transactions. Even the wallet, right? I think I already have that Ledger wallet in Cointracker. So right now it just keeps seeing Bitcoin come in from somewhere. And it doesn't really, it treats it as just I got paid by somebody. But if I were to attach the Cash App, then it would see both ends of the transaction and keep track of everything for me. And if I wanted to move back to the Cash App and sell, it would keep track of that too. And then if all of the transactions that Cash App is reporting to the government would be on your tax form when you filed your taxes, because Cointracker can keep track of all your Cash App transactions too. I guess that's a fairly new feature they added. Do I think Bitcoin will hit 100,000? That's I would love to say that I thought that, and I would love to see it happen, but I don't know enough. I would love to see it happen. I would like to. I think I may be wrong, and I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a licensed practitioner, but I think that it will test its all-time highs this year. That's just my educated guess. And I would like to see it hit 40. Whether it's ever going to hit 100, I don't know. But I would really like to see it test its all-time high and go higher than that. And historically, if we look at what Bitcoin has done in the past, Bitcoin has usually let's go here. I have this chart here. Bitcoin usually hits new highs every boom bust cycle. And here's a great chart. They've taken the Bitcoin chart for 2019 and imposed it on top of the Bitcoin chart of 2017. Although you can see that 2017 has been slid back a couple of months, because this peak was in December of 2017, late December, early January. They've slid it back to July so that the two charts sort of look. But we're looking at a very similar pattern here. And so if we get another boom cycle in 2019, it might be a multiple of the 2017 spike, right? It could be geometric, right? Instead of linear, right? It might hit a multiple high. And based on that, you know, the original boom was like 30, and then it went back down to $2, and then in 2012 it got to 1,000, and then it went back down to 200 in 2013 and 14, and then it peaked again in 2015, I guess, I don't know exactly, and then it peaked in 2017 at 20,000. It went from 1,000 to 19.5 in 1 year, and then it crashed spectacularly, but it never saw 1,000 again, right? It only went down to say 32. Now it's back on the upswing, and are we going to see a multiple of its all-time high? Are we going to see a multiple of 19.5 this year? Well, I don't know. I wish I could tell you for sure, but I don't know. I would like to see it. And we've got institutions coming in. Does Cointracker know that the Ledger is a savings account? It treats it as a wallet, so it just treats it as storage, right? So when you move it, you know, when it looks at your holdings, it gives you, like, here's how much you're holding in cryptocurrency based on what you've got on exchanges and what you've got in wallets. And as you guys can probably guess, most of my holdings were in my wallets, whereas maybe other people don't even store their crypto in their own wallets. They just keep it on the exchanges. And so all of those holdings are counted. What, you know, most people's holdings would be like 90% in the exchange and maybe 10% in a wallet. or maybe even more realistically, 100% of all of their current holdings are on exchanges, right? And so when they buy or sell on the exchange, it's pretty easy to see the profit and the loss. In my case, I will buy on exchange and move into my wallet. And Cointracker just treats that as I'm still holding it, it's just not on the exchange anymore. And then if I were to move it back to the exchange and then sell, it would just keep track of the gain or loss on that. Right? But like I said, it's still complicated because who's to say when I bought that Bitcoin that I sold? Is it a first in, first out, last in, first out, last in, last out? How do they determine which Bitcoins are which, right? So I bought 2 Bitcoins in 2017, and then I bought another 2 Bitcoin in 2018, and then I sold 2 Bitcoins at the end of 2018. Does that count as within the year, or does it base it on the Bitcoins that I had from 2017? We don't know. Those are complicated questions. But hopefully the laws will become clearer and Cointracker will get better at determining. As far as I know, Cointracker says it does its very, very best to comply with all of the tax laws that can be applied to cryptocurrency. But I understand there are some gray areas still, even for the experts. Coinbase only reports 200 transactions or 20K. Cash App doesn't do that. So, like I said, the Coinbase keeps track of every purchase, every sale, and how much you currently are still holding. And so when you move it around, Cointracker will tell you, hey, you just moved Bitcoin from point A to point B. But it won't count it as a sale. But it might take into account the fee you had to pay and count that as against, your losses, right? They might count that as a loss. I moved Bitcoin from point A to point B. It was 20 grand worth of Bitcoin, but I ended up paying, like $5 in network fees. They may take that off. I don't know. But they keep track of everything. Right? They give you a whole list of all of your trades, all of your current holdings on each exchange that you have connected. And then every wallet that you've connected, it'll give you all of the trades in and out of all of the transactions in and out of the wallet. Yeah. It does a pretty good job. But Cointracker is not the only one out there. There's others. There's Cointracer. Tracer. And then some people just maintain Excel spreadsheets. And they're honest. And, if you're maintaining an Excel spreadsheet for every time you buy and sell or move cryptocurrency, and you present that to the government, when you do your taxes, whether or not that's going to throw up a red flag for an audit, we don't know. But if the government audits that person, they can go back and pull up their Excel sheet and say, here's all the crypto that I bought on these dates, and then they might be able to confirm it on the blockchain. And the IRS will go, wow, that person's pretty honest. So, you can keep track of it yourself, just like you do your own taxes. Some people are, okay with that. But for me, there's too many transactions to keep track of. I'm always moving stuff around, for my videos and, for myself and everything else, and experimenting, just moving it around and trying out new wallets. I have so many micro transactions. There's no way I would be able to keep track of it all. Coinbase said 20K, and then they think later 10K. Either way, break it up into smaller amounts over many exchanges. What does Cointracker do about that? Does it keep the price from when you bought it in the background? Well, it has a list of every trade on every exchange based on date and the current price, because that every trade has that information in it. So it uses the price of Bitcoin on that date that you made that trade in its calculations. And then if you sell the Bitcoin 2 weeks later and the price is higher or lower, it takes that into account too, and does math to figure what your profit or loss was. It does it for you automatically based on all the trade information. And when you set up those APIs, in your, like say your Binance account. That API allows Cointracker to view all of your transaction history. And the transaction history, if you look in your Binance, it says the date, the coin, how much coin, what the price was at the time, you know, of the coin you sold and the coin you bought. All of that information is on the exchange, and Cointracker just kind of sucks it up because you set up the API for them, gave them access. It doesn't give them access to sell any of your or withdraw any of your coins, but it does give them full view of all of your transactions. I got an email from Cointracker saying that they now supported, let's see if we can find it. Oh, because Cointracker is this guy. Okay. I don't know if it's that. No, it's not that. Okay. I guess that's this, right? See, and you see that it gives me updates every time I sell. Oh God, I don't know if I can find it or not. There it is, right there. Product updates. You can now import Square Cash app transactions. API support for Square Cash app is coming soon. You can use CVS import for now. Sign into the Cap Ash, click Statements, click Export CVS, check your Downloads folder, and then import that into your Cointracker, and it will. Yeah. So it's not seamless yet, right? You can't really connect the API directly to the Cointracker. You got to use Cointracker to generate the CSV file and then import that into your Cointracker. But it's doable. So I would have a standalone email just for Cointracker. Well, if you look at the way Cointracker works there on their website inside your account, it considers everything a wallet. So it'll say add new wallet, and it'll say, what's the name of this wallet? We say, well, this is the Binance wallet, right? And then it'll show you all the transactions from Binance. And then you have another wallet, say add new wallet. I'm going to call this the Ledger wallet. And then you give that there's a special master key in your Ledger for each Bitcoin account. And you import that in. They explain how to do it. And then that's your Ledger wallet. They call everything a wallet. So I'm assuming that you would say, okay, I'm going to call this add new wallet. I'm going to call this the Cash App wallet. And then you would import this CSV into that. And it would show you all the transactions there. Check it out. I mean, I'm not trying to sell you this thing. I'm just, everybody seems to be curious about it, so I'm just doing my best to explain it. Hey guys, a couple of Sailor to Life is a little bit late. We've been talking about Cointracker for managing your Bitcoin transactions and keeping track of them so you can file your taxes properly and not look over your shoulder. And you can manually enter all that information too. Yes, you can do that. I have not tried this yet. I just was saying that I got an email from Cointracker telling me that it's now possible to import my Cash App transactions. I haven't done it yet. No. Alright guys, I'm going to sign off. I went a little over this week. I'm really happy that everyone was here. I appreciate it. It would be, wouldn't it be funny if Cointracker was owned by the IRS? I don't know. No, I think it would be weirder if it was Mark Zuckerberg that owned it. Dun dun dun. Now I know everything about you. I think somebody made some comment about the Libra cryptocurrency, and they were like, why does he need Libra crypto? He already knows more about us than we know about ourselves. Okay. Yeah, of course. On Cointracker, you got to give him your name and your social. I don't know that you have to put in your social security number. I think maybe because it's going to print out the form for you. But at the very least, you know what? I'm not sure. I don't remember doing the ID verification thing. I think they're okay with just your email and your account and your info. I mean, they've got all this information about you. I don't know that they have to report to the government, or I can't remember. But I'm assuming they probably would want to verify your ID because they're doing tax forms. Yeah. Interesting question. I'll find out. But I'm pretty sure I did verify my identity with them. That was a good bad joke. Okay. Brave reps still. Oh, the Brave reps. Okay. So here's what happened with the Brave. Where are we here? Whoops. Yeah, before I go, I will tease you guys with this. Okay. All right, so this is an email exchange between myself and Assad. And so they were supposed to be on tonight. They said, Matt, we'd love to come on, but Matt is getting wisdom tooth out this week, and so probably will not be in the best of shape to chat. They're going to do Friday the 5th. So next week, I'm going to have two people from Brave International Software come on and for an interview. And I've got some questions I'll ask them. And maybe we'll have time for any of you guys to throw out some questions too. I'm pretty excited. They're excited. You know, I made a joke and said, I hope you guys don't get too rich to care between now and then because cryptos are up. And I'm slowly blurring. I just keep getting blurrier and blurrier. I guess I need a new camera. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, guys, Scott, Scott, what did I miss? You missed me being testy about people asking questions, and you missed me buying some Bitcoin on the Cash App and throwing it into my Ledger X, and we talked a lot about Cointracker. So I'm going to cut it off, guys. I'll try to do another live stream midweek next week. I did one on Tuesday, and get some more videos out for you guys. And maybe get a new camera. I don't know what the heck is. Am I too far? Is that what it is? Maybe I'm just too far. Anyway, guys, I love to see all of you again. Thank you. Blurry am I? Isn't that what Scott said last week? The Yoda thing? Blurry am I? Blurry are you? Okay, so I'm going to stop streaming. I'm going to sign off. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate the support. Bittrex is kicking out Hawaii residents. What do they got against people from Hawaii? I think they're just jealous, Scott. They want to live in an island paradise and they can't. So, you know, they're going to be all mean to you. It's just not fair. Okay, guys. I'll talk to you next week. And maybe in between. Did I? I think I screwed that up. Let's see where we are. Am I back? No, this is bad. It says I'm still live. Don't forget I have a live stream every Friday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Please join me for the live Q&A in LA. Same time every Friday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you need some extra help, some one-on-one, head over to my Patreon page. Check it out. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me and hope to see you again soon.